Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make a 2-round granny square. I'm working on a table runner and some washcloths that are going to be made from these 2-row granny squares. For my table runner, it's going to be in this blue color. This is 100% cotton Dishie yarn from WeCrochet or Knit Picks. The color is called Azure. This is a worsted weight yarn. You can make these granny squares in any weight yarn with the respective crochet hook. Since I'm making a table runner, I'm doing it in cotton. You could also do it in acrylic yarn. I'm using an H8 5mm crochet hook for these squares. They're going to come out to be about 2 3/4 inches wide. I'm going to start by making a slip knot. So I've brought the yarn over my fingers here. You want to leave a tail end a little bit longer than what you're used to leaving because you're going to make a ring and crochet over it and it uses more of that yarn. Wrap the working yarn around your index finger 2 times. I'm going to bring it down, hold the tension with my thumb and my middle finger. I'll take the loop that's on the left, pull it up over the other loop but not off my finger. Then I'll take the loop that's on the left now, pull it up over the other one and off my finger. I'll take my crochet hook, insert it into the loop that's on my finger. Then I can hold the working yarn with my right hand and pull the short tail end with my left hand, and that'll tighten this up to normal tension. We're going to start with a chain 5. To chain, we yarn over and pull through the loop. Yarn over, pull through the loop. Yarn over, pull through the loop. There's 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to slip stitch join to form a ring. We're going to, I like to hold the tension of the loop that's on my hook with my right index finger. We're going to bring the crochet hook down to the very first chain that we made and insert right into the center. Then yarn over, pull through that loop and the loop that's on your hook. And now we have a ring with that center hole that we're going to be working into. Our beginning tail end, I'm just going to hold it up against the chains and I'm going to crochet over it. So we're going to start with a chain 2. This is going to count as our very first double crochet from our first cluster. Then we're going to work 2 double crochets into the center ring. To double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook right into the center of that ring. And when we do this, it's going to pick up the chains on our crochet hook. We're going to crochet over all those chains. Yarn over, pull through. There are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We'll work 1 more double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into the center of the ring, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to work a chain 3 for the corner. And now we're ready to work 3 double crochets back into that center ring to make another cluster. And just make sure when you're working that you have the chains on your hook as well as the beginning tail end. We'll work another chain 3 for the corner. Then we'll work 3 more double crochets in that ring. Chain 3. One more set of 3 double crochets in the center ring. And one more chain 3 corner. Then we're going to insert our hook into the top of the beginning chain 2. So there's the first chain, there's the second chain, right into the center of it. Yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on your hook. That is a slip stitch join. The first round of our granny square is complete. For row 2, we're going to slip stitch over into the next chain space. Insert your hook underneath both loops of that next stitch. Yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on your hook. Insert your hook under both loops of the next stitch. Yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on your hook. One more slip stitch here. Now we're ready to begin. Chain 2, which counts as the first double crochet of the cluster. We're in a corner, and in the corners we need to increase. We'll start with 2 double crochets into that chain space. Then we'll chain 3. And now we're going to work 3 more double crochets back into that same exact chain space. If you think you're running out of room, you can grab the double crochets you just worked and the fabric and pull them apart, and it'll just slide those stitches down the chain and you'll have more room for stitches there. There's our first corner. In the center in between, we're going to chain 1. In the next chain space, we'll repeat working 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. Now we're working in the center, so we'll chain 1. Next chain space, work 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. We'll repeat that one more time. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain space, chain 3, 3 double crochets into the same chain space. We'll work one more chain 1 here in the center, then we're going to slip stitch join to the top of the beginning chain 2. There's the first chain, there's the second chain, insert right in the center, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on your hook. Before I fasten off, if your granny square happens to be butterflying, which is referred to the square whenever the center is indented, it means that you need to work an extra chain here in the centers. I've worked a chain 1. If yours is caving in, then work a chain 2. If your square has the center bowing out, then work your cluster, do not chain, and then proceed to the next chain space to work the next corner. I'm going to take my scissors and fasten off. Then I'm going to pull up on that loop to break it. I'm going to insert my hook into the same stitch as the last one from the wrong side to the right side. Grab that tail end and just pull it through so it's on the back. And now I'm ready to weave in my ends. I have my tapestry needle here. Another useful tool is going to be a pair of jewelry pliers. When I work with tough yarns like cotton, jewelry pliers really help save my fingers. I'm going to start with the tail end that's in the center. I'm going to thread it into the eye of my tapestry needle. I always do 3 passes for all of my ends. This one I'm going to work a full circle until I get all the way back to where I started. So I'm just going to weave under several stitches at a time. And now that I'm back where I started, I'm going to go a couple more stitches over. Then I'm going to hold the fabric with my left hand and I'm going to pull on the tail end with my right. And it's going to close this center ring up completely. Don't pull too tight if you're working with cotton because it will tear. Just tight enough that you don't feel the slack anymore. To secure it, I'm going to work 2 more passes. So now I've rotated it so I can work back in the direction that I came. I'm going to start in a nearby stitch, and I'm not going to pick up the whole entire stitch like this. I'm going to insert it right into the center, breaking it in half, and then work under several stitches. And when I come out, I'm also going to break that stitch in half. And this is going to help catch my yarn. So there's 2 passes. One more, I rotated the fabric, insert into a nearby stitch, breaking it in half, work under several stitches, and break the last stitch in half as well. I'm just tugging on it, and then I can fasten off. I really like WeCrochet yarn. It seems to be a little bit softer on the hands than Lily Sugar and Cream. Lily Sugar and Cream, I often have to use the jewelry pliers. I'll show you how I use those real quick. This is for the yarn that I fastened off at the top. I'm just going to go into the stitch to the left, break that stitch in half, go downward, and then into the stitches from the corner. That seems to be the best place to hide a tail end. And if you were using your jewelry pliers, you would just want to make sure you can see down the eye of the needle. It's flat. Grab the needle, hold the fabric, and pull through. Do it carefully. If you pull too tight, you can break the eye of your needle. When you pull through, make sure not to pull too tight. You don't want your work to bunch up. So if it does that, just use your fingers to manipulate the fabric so that it lays naturally. And I'll rotate my work, and I'm going to work into a nearby stitch and back through several of the stitches that I worked, staying in the bunch of stitches there on the edge. So I'm not going to go up through the stitches up here, although you could. I like to keep it in the bulkiness of the stitches in the corner. That's pass number 2. Rotate my fabric, work 1 more pass. 3 is my magic number. And I'm just going to manipulate the fabric, make sure it's laying flat, and fasten off. And there's my 2 round granny stitch square. I'm going to make a bunch of these and sew them together. You can make so many different projects with them. You could do it just by itself here and turn them into earrings or an applique or stick them on a card. Or you can do like I'm doing, make a bunch, sew them together. You can make a scarf, blanket, pillowcase, placemat. There's so many things you can do with these. If you'd like to see a specific project, drop me a line below and I will work on a tutorial for that. I'll also link to some free crochet patterns of designs I've made using granny squares that I've sewn together. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.